My 3-hour-long video that I worked months on got a yellow $sign, which means I'm basically making nothing off of it. So here is a shorter and less controversial video. All things discussed within this video is alleged and have not been proven in a court of law, although this will be discussing a lawsuit. All things said within this video are either the opinion of myself or the people I am sourcing, and nothing should be treated as fact. I don't like Elon Musk. If you watched my other videos, that should come as no surprise. Many people, with 2 brain cells to rub together, share pretty much the same opinion, that he's an entitled nepo baby who tries his best to hide all the things that he got from his daddy, and used daddy's money in order to buy some tech-related things for him to trick people into thinking that he's some sort of super genius. Spoiler alert, he's not. He likes the idea of science fiction a little too much, in my opinion, to the point where his oh-so-smart ideas turn out to be complete failures on pretty much every front. Tesla used to be a brand that people associated with high-end luxury that has since turned into the most expensive laughingstock of the car world since the introduction of the Cybertruck. SpaceX is most notable for being fairly unremarkable. So unremarkable, in fact, that if it wasn't for Musk being associated with it, people wouldn't even really remember it existed. And let's not forget Twitter, once a thriving platform that a lot of people got their daily news from, now a decaying cesspool of far right-wing propaganda and boobies. Seriously, with renaming the site X, the letter commonly associated with adult websites, one could only wonder why so many boobies bots have spawned in. It truly is a mystery. Yes, indeed, little Elon let his papa's emerald money rattle around in his noggin a little too much, and not enough people in his life told him that he really needed to retake that test in school. His entitlement goes beyond all of that, though, which is why we are here now, where the video actually begins. Parody party game Cards Against Humanity is suing Elon Musk for $15 million. Hey there, I'm here to interrupt your regularly scheduled entertainment. Cards Against Humanity is a well-known and beloved card game that uses word and phrase-based prompts in order to make comedic sentences and scenarios. Depending on who you play with, the point is that whoever makes the funniest or most relatable phrase with the prompt card and a card from their own hand, they earn a point. It's a little odd to explain, but it's a fairly simple game, trust me. The love or hate of this game flip-flops pretty consistently as the humor of the cards, while mostly dictated by the player's interpretation of said words or phrases, can lean more towards an offensive style of humor similar to South Park. There has also been times in which the card has crossed a line, and Cards Against Humanity, the company, does take a lot of consideration into the feedback from their player base and will remove a card from their decks if it's deemed too offensive. The company also does a lot of publicity stunts, like the time they didn't price their boxes at a convention, left the table unmanned, and simply left a jar with instructions to pay what you think the game is worth. This did mean that a lot of people just took things and walked away, but they were obviously prepared for the monetary loss that came from this kind of situation. They've also made a convention booth entirely out of cardboard, which I personally thought was very fun and creative. Additionally, they've also mailed out literal cow feces to customers when they started selling something they labeled as a box of bullshit on their website. Cards Against Humanity also makes great stands against injustices brought by corruption and is very anti-billionaire, donating to causes like the National Network of Abortion Funds. So when Trump and other Republicans started screaming to build a wall to keep migrants from Mexico out of America, Cards Against Humanity raised enough money in order to buy a plot of land on the border to prevent them from ever finishing that project and preserving the landscape. Elon, however, apparently doesn't care about people owning land. After all, any pleb that isn't a billionaire is clearly beneath him, unless it's a woman too young for him that he feels would birth him superior offspring. Cards Against Humanity's lawsuit alleges that SpaceX willfully ignored property boundaries and stole their land, stating that they had unlawfully restricted their right to use the land as they saw fit and never reached out to Cards Against Humanity to ask permission to be on their land, let alone demolish it for their project. SpaceX and Elon, because he is the owner, just set up shop and started a construction project on the land owned by Cards Against Humanity, which they amply put that he totally wrecked their property, which, having tore up the ground, dumped a bunch of materials and machinery, and even started the process of erecting a building, which, for the record, it does appear that the building was not on their land specifically, but Elon did use their land for other stuff. Looking at the photos, it looks like they had turned the land into a parking area, with the way the area looks like it's been in the process of being flattened and had gravel put in place. The lawsuit lists more pictures of the damages done to the property, including showing that the construction crew disregarded posts erected that marked the property lines and ignored no trespassing signage. Within this document, Cards Against Humanity also alleges that the construction crew is not abiding by OSHA safety regulations due to making a private property into a work site and ignoring the safety of anyone coming and going from said property that isn't affiliated with Elon Musk, SpaceX, or the construction crew. And now here we are with Cards Against Humanity moving forward with a lawsuit for trespassing, destruction of private property, unlawful use and benefiting from a property SpaceX does not own, and damages towards their reputation as a business, and just generally being a nuisance, just to sprinkle some spice in on all of that. When they had first confronted SpaceX about the situation, SpaceX had tried to make a monetary offer for compensation that Cards Against Humanity deemed too low for the value of their property and the damages they had incurred. You could say that maybe Elon personally didn't know about the situation at first, that some other corporate bigwig went ahead and signed off on this project, but that is where you run into issues as the owner of a conglomerate. Anything your underlings do, you are also responsible for their shenanigans and any base decisions that they make. This is going to end up turning into a chain of command type of issue. Elon owns SpaceX, so he is going to be responsible for the person that signed off on this project, which that person is then responsible for the construction company that they had hired for said project, and then that construction company is at fault for using the land not within the contract for said project. Some people on Twitter say that this lawsuit is frivolous and petty, since when they have their tongues away from the boots long enough to speak, they've pointed out that Cards Against Humanity's land is wedged between plots allegedly owned by SpaceX, and they think that it was inevitable that a situation like this were to happen, and they don't think that Cards Against Humanity has any chance of winning this lawsuit because they think SpaceX is doing too much good for the government and humanity as a whole, apparently. I'm not a lawyer, but that smells like a whole lot of the same stuff that Cards Against Humanity mailed out to their customers one time. I'm fairly sure nowhere in the Constitution does it say that a billionaire is allowed to trespass and destroy your private property. While SpaceX apparently has some contracts through the government, the company itself is not a government entity and is privately owned. Not that they would be allowed to do what they were doing anyway, even if they were a government entity, as the Constitution actually has a variety of amendments and clauses that state pretty clearly that private property cannot be taken without compensation, particularly the Fifth Amendment, although I do see some arguments to be had for the Fourth Amendment in terms of search and seizure as well. At the end of the day, this lawsuit is less about the value of the land being destroyed, but more about the integrity that comes with standing up against people who disrespect you, because they feel more entitled to their surroundings than you are entitled to what you legally own. As Cards Against Humanity put it in their statement, this lawsuit is now about preserving their reputation as a company. They promised to uphold this land, and now that it's destroyed, the people who donated to the campaign to purchase said land are owed their reparations. As one of the causes of action within this lawsuit is a matter of damages to Cards Against Humanity's reputation, listed here as tortious interference with existing and prospective contracts and business relationships. Cards Against Humanity has stated on the website that they made for this lawsuit that if they win this case, they will be sending $100 to each of the original 150,000 people who donated in order for them to be able to purchase this plot of land to begin with. And if you are someone who donated and want that $100, they have a sign-up sheet to fill out. And of course, in the description I'll be linking everything that I need to, don't worry. Like I said before, the bootlickers are upset about this, saying that it's petty and they won't win against Musk because they'll just be stuck in litigation hell forever, while Musk drains their bank accounts with court fees and lawyer fees and the like. A lot of people are also saying that this is actually just a huge publicity stunt like the other things that I mentioned before, presumably for another expansion pack for the game coming out soon, as apparently they tend to do stunts around large launches according to some of the comments that I'm seeing. Regardless of the actual motives for this lawsuit, I do think that they are entitled to the money that they are owed in damages. They are correct in the regard that just because you are a billionaire doesn't mean that you're allowed to just do whatever the you want. There needs to be more companies, more people, to make a stand against people like Elon Musk, who think that just because their daddy gave them an allowance, it means that they're a genius beyond the laws of the common man. Even if they don't win, I hope they are the biggest annoyance Elon will face for this year, and however many years this lawsuit gets dragged out for. But the lawsuit could actually be avoided if Elon gives them Twitter. As always, please be respectful in the comments. I do actually want to hear your thoughts on this. Be as funny as you can be. Like this video, subscribe for more, do everything the algorithm likes, you know the drill. This video, like all of my content, is brought to you by Patreon, so thank you so much to Ippo, Alec, Ashley, and Mel for subscribing, and also thank you to the channel member, Megan May. I appreciate you all so much. If you guys don't want to see the lawsuit, you can just click off now, but as my little post-credits kind of thing, I'm going to scroll through said lawsuit, so you can just pause to read if you want. This is Finn, signing off, until next time.
I can't move on till I let go. I feel so lost, never at home. Need to be strong, every breath hold, 'cause I can't move on till I let go.